We invite you to join us in Costa Rica, the coast of riches, to experience all the richness this lush, bi-coastal country offers, rich in culture, nature, conservation, and innovation. A pioneer in ecotourism, Costa Rica has a wealth of natural diversity in both landscapes and species, from jungles, tropical rainforests, volcanoes, waterfalls, beaches, and coral reefs to flora and fauna of all types and stripes. We'll take you on an adventure of a lifetime. Come with us to exotic cloud forests, hanging bridges, jungle boat safaris, mangrove canopied lagoons, and trees teeming with toucans. Take your pick from whitewater rafting, catamaran tours, zip lining, and dozens of other adrenaline-fueled pursuits. Luxuriate in hot springs during your downtime and savor the sweet Costa Rican cuisine made with ingredients from the surrounding fertile lands. Whether you crave adventure, culture, relaxing on a sandy beach, or all of the above, Costa Rica checks all the boxes. It's the ultimate trip to the zoo, a wonderland of national parks. Listen to the calls of howler monkeys, gawk at anteaters, race with sloths, and stand in awe of massive crocodiles viewed from the safety of a bridge. Definitely bring the kids. You won't forget Costa Rica, ever. Our custom trips are drawn from a menu of enticing experiences with something interesting for everyone. This is Michael Gelber, CEO of IWorld Travel, inviting you to experience another memories beyond destination. IWorld Travel. Expect more, do more.
I love watching that video. I'm sorry. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Gelber. I am the CEO of IWorld Travel. Appreciate you joining our webinar this morning on Costa Rica, learn a little bit more about IWorld Travel. And again, we have our guests, Stephanie Sheehy, Adalberto Rodriguez, and Tricia Carbajal coming to us to share a little bit of insights into how to book Costa Rica. I apologize for the pause. I see my screen is getting blurry. There it is. It's much better. Okay, so at this time, I want to introduce you to two executives from the Tourism Board of Costa Rica, Adalberto Rodriguez Balas and Tricia Carbajal. I apologize. They're going to take just a few minutes to give you a little information from the Tourism Board's perspective, and then Tricia will be available at the end as well, along with Stephanie and myself to answer any questions. I'll introduce Stephanie as soon as Adalberto and Tricia get done. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure to be with you today. And thank you, Michael. Thank you for a great video. First and foremost, I want to thank you and IWorld for considering Costa Rica as one of your targeted destinations to open after the COVID-19 pandemic. On these unprecedented times, it is a relief to count on partners like you to promote our beautiful country and the world. On behalf of the Costa Rica Tourism Board, it is an honor to welcome you to this webinar. As you know, the board is the main authority in the promotion of Costa Rica as a tourism destination. Our country is well known by a sustainable tourism development model that uses innovation, the strength of its workforce, and effective public management to guarantee the best customer experience possible and give life quality in a pura vida style that as a nation we aspire to transfer to our visitors too. This is the reason why we are supporting this webinar given by IWorld today. Last but not least, allow me to introduce you to Tricia Carbajal, Director of Sales and Marketing at Myriad, our agency rep in the US. We decided to hire a trade specialized agency in the US last year because we saw the need to have closer communication with the trade industry and travel agents in order to promote our destination in a better way. Tricia will tell you a bit more about the Destination Specialist program we are developing for the US and Canadian markets. If you're interested in getting your certification, please reach out to her after this webinar so we can send you an invite to participate. Tricia, please tell us a bit more about you and the plans we have for the US and Canada. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Tricia Carbajal. I'm with Myriad Marketing. We represent Costa Rica here in the US for all things trade related. We are actively working on several projects to make it easier for you to sell Costa Rica. We love IWorld of Travel and we'd love to work with you to bring your clients to the beautiful destination. We've been getting a lot of questions from travel advisors about a specialist program, and it is coming. We just started working on this, and we plan to have it fully completed at the end of August, possibly early September. IWorld of Travel will provide you with the link when the program is ready. And they already have some amazing marketing materials that you can use in the meantime. So those coupled with the specialist certification, when it is ready, you will be completely prepared to sell Costa Rica. We'll also be working on fam trips when the time is right to travel and with proper COVID safe measures in place. We're also starting a monthly newsletter in July, so please reach out to be added to our database for that. Lastly, I'm just really happy to join the webinar today, to virtually meet all of you, and here to answer any questions you might have and to be a point of contact for you here in the US. And with that, I will pass it on to Stephanie.
So let me just, listen, they've already talked about Stephanie, and I just want to say a few words about Stephanie. One of the things I mentioned to you is that, you know, the thing that we take great pride in, and that my father always took great pride in, is that under the old adage, choose your partners wisely. And we partner with people we like, that people we trust, and that are smart. And Stephanie will allow you to see that she epitomizes really the global partners that we work with everywhere around the world. And we are very fortunate and grateful to have her as part of our team, part of our company efforts. And I look forward to learning more about Costa Rica as well. So pressure on, Stephanie. It's gonna be on you now. I think we're gonna switch screen. We're gonna switch shares. You're gonna share your screen, and then I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it. Thanks very much for participating, Stephanie. And then we will take questions at the end. We see them coming up, and Shane will send those out to us as we get there. All right, on you, Steph.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Michael. I'm gonna now share my screen so you can all see the information of Costa Rica. Is it right there? Can you all see it? Mr. Michael?
Looks great. It looks perfect.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so we're gonna start now about Costa Rica. As everyone has mentioned, we're a local specialist, and we're right now the right hand of IWorld, and that's my honor. And thank you, Mr. Michael, as we're friends and now with business, right? So Costa Rica, a destination for all, that's how we see it, how we want you to learn about Costa Rica. That Costa Rica is not only about coming to the country and doing an all-inclusive. There is much more to do. Give me a second, doesn't move, there. So first of all, where is Costa Rica? Well, Costa Rica is located in Central America. We have Nicaragua right here on the north, Panama on the south, the Pacific coast on the west, and the Caribbean side on the east. We are a very small country. We're 51,000 square kilometers, which means as big as West Virginia. And you know what? We're a destination very close from the US. For example, we have flights. Well, we want to have flights when we open borders and the US is ready, right? But before that, and it's going to be available post-COVID, Miami is only 2 hours and 45 minutes away. Houston, 3 hours and 30 minutes away. Atlanta, 4 hours away, and New York, 5 hours away. So as you can see, most of the big airports and destinations around the US are very connected into Costa Rica, our country. Right here, you can see more of Costa Rica, 51,000 square kilometers, which is divided on 7 provinces. Those 7 provinces are like the geographical division. We always divide it as well in tourism on regions, and those are based on the ecosystems and not only on geographical distribution. You do have to know that we have 2 international airports, one right here in San Jose and the other one in Liberia, which is up on the North Pacific coast in Guanacaste. We do have 2 main ports where we get a lot of cruise ships. One is Punta Arenas on the Central Pacific coast right here, and the other one in Limon, which is on the Caribbean side right here. Both of them have tons of different cruise ships that arrive to the country as well. So that's another way to connect and arrive to Costa Rica. Why you should choose or offer Costa Rica to your people. Basically, we're a safe democratic country. We have been with no army since 1948, which is really amazing. And we have free healthcare and education all around the country. Our life expectancy is really high, and our literacy rate is 96%. Why? Because everyone goes to school here in Costa Rica. Our English, as you can see, is really well. We have very good English. We have very good people learning about different things in the country. And that's why we also have, for example, Intel doing all of these different microchips in the country for exportation. 6% of the world's plants and animals live in Costa Rica. 25% of our land is protected with national parks or private reserves. And 4 sites are UNESCO, 12 Ramsar sites. Do you know what Ramsar sites are? Well, Ramsar are those wetlands where all of these different birds and crocodiles and lizards live. So those are great spots to visit. And of course, well, Costa Rica has been cataloged as one of the happiest countries. Why? Because we're pura vida. Do you know what that word means? Well, it's basically our way of life. When we see each other on the roads, we can say, hey, how are you? And it's gonna be like, hey, pura vida. And everyone's gonna answer, right, pura vida. So it depends on the accent, how we use it, the actual meaning of the word. But that's a way of life. We're always pura vida. So we're gonna start on the different locations of the country. Basically, I have arranged the locations that we're gonna see on sequence, all right? So basically, you can visit all of them on one visit, but it's gonna take around 30 days to do it. But the sequence itself, there's classic and there's off the beaten path. When you see off the beaten path on the location, it means that normally the people won't visit that location on a first timer. It's gonna be an adventurous person or someone that arrived like on a second timer. If it just says classic or it doesn't say off the beaten path, it's basically because it's an area that normally every traveler will visit on his first time. So we're gonna start with San Jose. San Jose is the capital city. It's the Central Valley, right here in red. And of course, you're gonna see this logo, LSGD. That's Luxury Small Group Departures. Those are the small group departures that we're working on together, IWorld and us, here in Costa Rica. So every time you see the logo, you're gonna see that it's a destination that it's gonna be part of an itinerary, all right? So let's start. This is San Jose. San Jose is the Central Valley. In Costa Rica, we have a population of 4 million people, almost 5 million people. We're very small, remember, 15 million, but 5 million all around the country. And almost 50% of that population live only in San Jose, in the Central Valley. All of the other regions are less populated. We're getting ready in Costa Rica. The ICT and the Minister of Health have been working on protocols, different protocols around the country, so we can ensure a healthy and safe tourism in Costa Rica. 14 protocols that are hotels, transportation, tours, restaurants, anything that you imagine that it's part of our tourism chain, we're already designing protocols. And the government, the ICT, is doing all that training so that we can secure that Costa Rica is gonna be ready when borders are open and when all of the tourists can come back. We're right now implementing them. We're doing 50% of occupancy on all hotels and restaurants and all of the services, of course, with locals, with Costa Ricans traveling around the country. That way, our staff can get ready, right? Why is Costa Rica a little bubble in Central America? Well, because we have free healthcare. So that has given us an advantage. We have good hospitals, very good education. So we have a lot of doctors and people available working on having our country controlled. The Central Valley, San Jose. San Jose is where the main international airport is located. Most people say like, oh, I'm gonna arrive there and depart. We normally recommend all of our travelers to stay at least one night in San Jose, because you never know. You never know if your flight gets delayed, if you lose your luggage, you lose a connection of your flight. So it's better to lose one night in San Jose instead of just one night in Arenal or the whole package in Tortuguero, right? So at least one first night in San Jose. But you know what? It's not only about that. In San Jose, we have gorgeous boutique hotels. We have tons of activities that you can do in San Jose. So it's not only a destination for one night, it can be 2 nights. The first night you arrive, you just lay back. The second day, you can visit San Jose and do all the National Theater. Do you know that San Jose City was the second city in the whole world with electricity? Well, that's really a wow, right? So visit that, learn about our history, go to the Cimarron and Mascaradas, which is that big picture on the right, learn about our traditions, our culture, our food. Just 1 hour away, you can visit a volcano and see the main crater of Poás volcano or Irasu volcano, do wildlife, waterfalls, anything that you imagine, you can do from the Central Valley with 1 hour, 1 hour and a half distance. So it's a great spot to start your adventure and to actually learn about us, right? The Ticos and our culture. From there, we can head to San Gerardo de Dota. San Gerardo de Dota is an off the beaten path location. Why? Because it's less touristy, let's say like that. It's more about experiences. It's the same cloud forest that you will experience in Monteverde, for example, but in San Gerardo, there's only 3 or 4 hotels, boutique. The experience is still very rural, about coffee, crops, rural tourism, waterfalls, and experiencing that cloud forest that it's untouched. These are some pictures of how the cloud forest in San Gerardo looks, and some of the boutique hotels. We have, when I talk about boutique hotels in Costa Rica, it's incredible how they have their own spirits, you know? Every single boutique hotel has their own way, their own uniqueness. It can be because of the heritage of the family that owns the hotel, or it can actually be just because they conserve or they have a preserved area on their own property. Now we head to Turrialba right here. Turrialba is part of Cartago. Cartago is part of our luxury small group destinations. And right there, it's also an off the beaten path location because on IWorld, we are looking for creating those memories, those unique spots, right? So in Turrialba, we visit Guayabo Archaeological Site, which is the only archaeological site in Costa Rica. So we did have our indigenous people, we did have our communities before the civilization that we're having right now, right? And in Turrialba, there's an adventure center. Here we can also do the canyoning, like you can see on the right side. We can do hikes, horseback ridings. We can visit the lake. And the boutique hotels are very important to mention. They're really nice boutique hotels. On this picture on the left, you can see the volcano with the fumarole, because Turrialba is actually a volcano area. Then we head to Tortuguero. Tortuguero is the North Caribbean coast. We call it the Amazons of Costa Rica. Why? Because it's a secluded area, it's a protected area. It's a place that you can only arrive there by boat or by air. There's no roads. So when you arrive to your hotel, you're there in the middle of the jungle with nobody else. So we normally recommend the 3 days, 2 nights as a minimum. You would do a lot of boat tours to see wildlife. And it's very impressive because in Tortuguero, there's the turtle nesting season. So on the family package that we're going to talk afterwards, you're going to have the opportunity of going out to the beach and see the turtle nesting. So that's an activity that it's also part of Tortuguero. So it's not only the canals, the wildlife, but also the turtles and the hatchlings. Now we're heading to the South Caribbean right here, which is Cahuita, Puerto Viejo, Manzanillo. This is a very interesting area. Basically, well, the Caribbean is my favorite spot in Costa Rica. It's where I'm going with my family every time we have a long weekend or for Easter, or all of that. But it is because there are no big hotels. It's basically you in the middle of the jungle, hitting the ocean with very small boutique hotels, lodges. In this area, you cannot, for example, you're in the restaurant, you want a coffee. You ask for the coffee and you have to wait. It's not like on the big 5-star hotels that they're gonna bring the coffee right away, right? It's very laid back, it's very easygoing. It's like, oh, we have the whole day for that coffee, right? So that's the vibe, the experience in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is the Rasta Afro culture, which is impressive. Everything is different in this area. The rice and beans is different. We use a lot of coconut in this area. It's more spicy than the different regions. So for me, it's a great place in the country. Then we have Sarapiquí. Sarapiquí right here is like the best spot to stop after you do Tortuguero or the Caribbean. Okay, so if we're talking about logistics, as we said, we're doing the whole logistic around the country, right? So after we did Tortuguero, we do the Caribbean. After Caribbean, we do Sarapiquí. And from there, we head to the different other regions. So Sarapiquí is a perfect spot to stop. But it's not only that. There you can do whitewater rafting, horseback riding, nature walks. There's a lot of research stations. There's the activities, for example, in the night to learn about bats or learn about frogs. There's also volunteerism. In Sarapiquí, we can offer, for example, visit a school. With some groups, we have created organic farms in the school. So the school have their own veggies, you know, cultivated by the students. And all of those adventures just to see the wildlife and be in the rainforest. So right here in these pictures of Sarapiquí, you can see that we have great wildlife. You can do canyonings, you can do horseback ridings, water raftings, all of them on site. From Sarapiquí, we head to Arenal. Arenal is famous. Why? Because of this gorgeous volcano. It used to be active, but right now it's only active like with the hot springs and the underneath. There's no volcanic eruptions now. So in Arenal, it's not only about the volcano. In Arenal, there's the hot springs. And it has developed so much that you can stay there 5 days or 6 days, and you can do marvelous activities each different day. From hikes to hanging bridges, zip lining. There's a zip lining where you're on the cable and you don't see the end. You have the volcano on one side and the lake on the other side. Wow, that's an incredible view when you're sliding like a monkey from one place to the other, right? Then we have the hanging bridges. We have horseback ridings, waterfalls, tubings, mention it. Any adventure or relaxation, hike or wellness that you are looking for, well, this is a great spot to adventure yourself. These are some of the hot springs that we have on site. And this right now on the left side is the walk on the national park. As you can see, there's the rocks of the eruptions. There's also a lot of nature. The hot springs are amazing. The hotels in Arenal area, we can do from boutique hotels that have their own hot springs to 5-star plus hotels, like the Springs Resort and Spa or Tabacón or Kyoto, all of them are on site. Now we're heading to Caño Negro. We talked about Ramsar sites. You remember that I told you that Ramsar sites are wetlands where you can see the most biodiversity. Here you can see all types of birds. So if you're a bird watcher, Caño Negro is your place to be. On this area, you would do a lot of boat tours, wildlife, and just like, look at this hotel right here. It's Hacienda Caño Negro. You just sit on your balcony and you're gonna have the most marvelous view, and you can count birds from your balcony. It's incredible. Rio Celeste, right here up in the north. So we're doing from Arenal, Caño Negro, from Caño Negro, Rio Celeste. Remember that this is a route, right? So Rio Celeste is Tenorio National Park. And Tenorio has this marvelous waterfall. So you would not only do the walk on the national park, you would arrive to this marvelous waterfall and you will learn why it's blue. I'm not gonna tell you in this webinar, you have to come to Costa Rica and learn about that. And on this area, we have tons of, well, not tons, there's like 5, 6 marvelous boutique hotels, like the Rio Celeste Hideaway, Casitas Tenorio, Tenorio Lodge. They're incredible small boutique hotels that are on the middle of the rainforest and will give you the opportunity of visiting this national park. And there's also rural tourism on site. There's other waterfalls, tubing, horseback riding, and other adventures on site. Monteverde right here. Monteverde is the cloud forest, okay? Do you know why the cloud forest is so important? Well, the cloud forest is exactly where the rain is filtered to the earth and then it goes to our rivers. So it's basically where our water is created. So protecting cloud forests should be one of the main goals of society. So in Costa Rica, we do protect a lot of these parts of these areas. And Monteverde is one of them. In Monteverde, there's all types of hotels. We have from luxury glamping, like Chira glamping, to 5-star like El Establo, or boutique hotels like El Bermar or Fontavela or Poco a Poco. So on this area, you can select the type of hotel that your guest is looking for. And in Monteverde, there's a lot of adventures that have been created from culture, like why the first people went to this area, how they used to live, why there's so many cows, milk the cow experience, cheese, crops like chocolate or sugarcane or coffee. There's one of the biggest butterfly gardens, hummingbird gardens, and all the adventures like the hanging bridges, tree climbing, and canopies. This is the amazing cloud forest. And this cable right here is a canopy. So imagine just flying like a monkey on that cloud forest. It's an adventure and it's a memory that you will never forget. This is the hanging bridges. There's big hanging bridges where you can explore the cloud forest from different levels. And this right here, just imagine waking up on that bed and having the cloud forest right next to you. Rincón de la Vieja volcano. So we're heading up north to the Pacific. Rincón de la Vieja is a volcano. It's a volcano and the dry forest, okay? So as you can see, we have been talking about Amazons, rainforest, Ramsar sites, cloud forest, and we're in the dry forest now. And just driving from one location to the other, from one ecosystem to the other, is from 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, top out to 2 hours top maximum of driving to change the ecosystem. So that makes us really unique. So right now we're in the dry forest. We're in Rincón de la Vieja volcano, where the activity is more about the fumaroles, the mud baths, and right here on your right, you can see the trail that goes right next to a fumarole of the volcano. Right here on the left, left down is the view of the volcano itself. This is an active volcano with fumaroles and mud, and sometimes it erupts like ashes and a little bit of gas. But the hotels that are located in this area are on the safe area, okay? It has been very meticulous, you know, where we have built the hotel so that we don't have any accidents or anything like that. Guanacaste coastline. So Guanacaste is all of this red part in the map, okay? Basically, Guanacaste is the dry forest, the same as in Rincón de la Vieja, and it's where all the resorts are located. So if you're looking for a Rio, Dreams, big all-inclusives, westing, big houses. This is the area. It's going to be Guanacaste, okay? As well, Guanacaste has boutique hotels, not only the big all-inclusive resorts, but also very nice boutique hotels. And this region is the beach region. So basically, when you're deciding where to take your traveler, which area to select, we need to know if that customer is looking for a dark sanded beach, a white sanded beach, or gray sanded beach, if they want waves or no waves, if they want to be secluded or they want to have a close by town, if they want to be an all-inclusive or a boutique off the beaten path, because all of them are on this region. So selecting which is the best location for your guests will really depend on what they're looking for. And that's why you have to have a local expert that will give you that advice. And in this region, all the water sports are available, like the banana boats, the jet skis, the snorkeling, diving, sailing, fishing, name it. That's the region for all of those. And of course, golf. If we're talking about the big resorts, for example, Westin has an amazing golf course, or Hacienda Pinilla. Those are like the two big golf courses in the area, and Four Seasons in Papagayo. As you can see, there's different types of beaches, surfing beaches, calm water beaches, just relaxing areas, beachfront hotels, or those hotels are in middle of the towns like Tamarindo, where there's this big vibe of surfing and nightlife, right? Now we're heading down to the South Pacific. Right here is Peninsula de Nicoya. Okay, Peninsula de Nicoya is sold separately from Guanacaste because to arrive to this area, we have to take a ferry boat from Punta Arenas. Okay, so you take a ferry from Punta Arenas to the area, and there we always suggest to have a rental car. Why? Because you can drive to the different towns, to the different beaches, and the roads are still dirt roads. I call it the hippie town because it's here where you're gonna have a very laid back atmosphere. You're gonna have a lot of people like selling little necklaces and that sort of things. And it's an area where there's a lot of yoga retreats. Okay, so if your guests are looking for a destination to do yoga, wellness, horseback ridings on the beach, being like off the beaten path, very rural, that's the area. Manuel Antonio, now we're heading down in the Central Pacific coast, okay? So we had the Amazons in Tortuguero, the rainforest in Sarapiquí, Arenal, the Ramsar sites in Caño Negro, the dry forest in Guanacaste. So do you know what is Manuel Antonio and the Central Pacific coast? Well, it's called the transitional rainforest. And it's one of the most biodiverse regions. Why? Transitional rainforest means that we have flora and fauna from the dry forest up at Guanacaste and from the rainforest, which is down on the South Pacific. So it's the combination of both different ecosystems in one. So right there, we have Manuel Antonio National Park, which is very famous because of its white sanded beaches and its wildlife. On this area, you can see the 4 different types of monkeys, iguanas. You can do adventures, as I have mentioned, like water sports, snorkeling, catamarans. We have a very nice marina right there in the area. And the hotels vary from boutique to very luxurious or small hotels, okay? So this area, this is Manuel Antonio right here on your left with an aerial view and a view of the beach. As you can see, it's a very nice white sanded beach, clear waters, calm waters, very good for doing snorkeling, diving, and just swimming there. We're heading down to Bahia Ballena. This is still the Central Pacific coast. Sometimes it's called also the South, right? Because it's a little bit far from San Jose. Bahía Ballena is a national park that protects the ocean. So it's not only about protecting land, but also protecting our oceans. Bahía Ballena is an area where you can see resident dolphins all year round, and we have whales all year round. Why? Because we have whales that come from the north in a period of time, and whales that come from the south of America in a period of time. So we get both of them. We're like the center of that immigration of whales. The national park itself, when there's low tide, it becomes a whale tail. So the beach itself looks like a whale tail. So most of the hotels, like the one you can see right here on your left, are high in the mountains. Why? Because you want to see that big tail. It's incredible from the views of the hotels. The beaches, there are no beachfront hotels in this area. As you can see, it's more like the rainforest hitting the ocean. Most of the beaches in this area are surfing beaches, very long waves, and very extensive for walks, okay? From this area, we can also do a lot of snorkeling activities, but we go out to the coral reefs and the islands. We do a lot of whale watching, dolphin watching, and all of those boat tours. Very important to mention, as you can see right here on the right side, there's these big rocks. They're completely round. So we have this heritage in Costa Rica. I'm not gonna tell you the story either. You have to come to the South Pacific to learn about it. So they're all around the region. There's a national park that protects them. Now we're heading down south. So this south right here, the red spot down south hitting Panama, it's called the South Pacific Coast. Okay, Osa Peninsula, or the Corcovado National Park. Corcovado National Park has been announced by National Geographic and many others as one of the most biodiverse regions of the world. Why? Because it's complete jungle. There we have the jaguars, the tapirs, we have, well, tons of wildlife. But it's a region that it's far from San Jose, far from our airports, okay? So we normally recommend it for second timers that can fly into this region or have enough time to stay there at least 4 nights, okay? The same as what happens in Tortuguero. This area has the hotels that include everything because there are no roads. You have to arrive there by air or by boat, okay? There are amazing lodges, amazing fauna. When I was there, I love this area just because when you wake up in this cabin in the middle of the jungle, you feel the jungle wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's huge. And it's incredible how powerful this land is. In this area, we have protected the red macaws, which is the big red bird that you can find all around the area. And you can do also kayaks and boat tours all around. So now you have seen all of the different regions of the country. As you can see, we have an array of ecosystems, tons of wildlife. You can experience, well, from snorkeling to kayaking to flying like a monkey or just relaxing on an amazing beach. We're the perfect destination for more than once. You can come to Costa Rica, have customers that have been traveling to Costa Rica for the past 15 years. Every year they come to Costa Rica, and every year we create a special itinerary, a unique itinerary of locations that they haven't visited. So don't think about it. Costa Rica is the best place. Costa Rica is a small travel bubble in Central America, and we have making dreams come true. Right here, you can see a picture of one of our guests. We do accessible travel because we believe that anyone should be able to visit Costa Rica and explore Costa Rica in equality, in the same conditions. So we have been able to show Costa Rica to people with disabilities, from doing canopies, water rafting, just safari floats, walks, and anything that they need, because we believe in that. we truly believe that Costa Rica can be a destination for all. Doesn't matter if you're gluten-free, it doesn't matter if you're on a wheelchair, it doesn't matter if you're a senior or if you're a young Instagrammer that wants to come to Costa Rica and take tons of pictures of you and the wildlife, right? So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our luxurious small group departures. As we have mentioned, we're specialists on family packages. And the one that we're creating and working with IWorld is called a treasure hunt. It's a different way of traveling, okay? When you come with your kids to Costa Rica, what we do is make them play, make them learn with our ecosystems. So when they arrive to the country, their guide is going to be dressed like a captain. We'll give them a letter and say, hey kids, when I came to visit you, to get you in the airport, I found this message in the bottle and it has your name. So they open the bottle and they have to answer riddles, find treasures. There's a treasure chest where the kids have to put their treasure every day. And the parents have to send a picture per day to the captain of the best memory. They're going to travel with a guide that it's a local expert that will be not only showing them the unique locations, we'll adjust the itinerary based on the naps of the children or based in if they're tired in the middle of the road from one place to the other. He knows those secret spots where we can just stop and so the kids can relax, the kids can go to the restroom, and we can make a trip that it's comfortable not only for the adults but also for the kids, because we know that if the kids are happy, parents are going to be happy, right? So this family package is a bonding experience, it's a learning experience, immersive and very fun for all ages. The luxury small package departures as well is not only for families, as I have mentioned, but we also have another itinerary. So we have a 9-day itinerary departure for everyone and the 11-day itinerary for families. So this 9-day itinerary is also about memories. It's about culture, heritage, know our chamans, know about our history, learn about the authentic and immersive visits that we can do on the Jade Museum, learn about our mascaradas and cimarronas. You know what that is? Well, it's basically our tradition, our festivity. Every town has a saint, and when that saint day is, we go out to the streets with mascaradas and cimarronas. It's basically big masks and a lot of music and dancing. So that's what we're doing with IWorld. Here are some of the locations that we're going to be visiting and learning. This is the 9-day immersive package. It starts in San Jose, so flights have to be arranged to San Jose International Airport. Then we will visit Turrialba. Remember Turrialba, where the Guayabo Monument is located, where we can do the canyonings, and we have the Turrialba volcano. From there, we head to Arenal. So Arenal is also a volcano. Remember the perfect cone volcano. And there, we're going to do the skywalks. We're going to do the hot springs. And then Monteverde. So on this itinerary, we're doing Turrialba with the heritage in San Jose, the culture. Arenal with the hot springs and the adventures. Monteverde with the cloud forest and nocturnal walks. And you know what? There's some secret spots that we're going to visit. For example, we're going to have a dinner in the top of the trees. Just imagine that. And we're going to have an experience in San Jose with the local chaman. We're going to do the fire and we're going to dance around the fire with local traditions. And the other itinerary, the family treasure hunt, it's basically the same regions, but we added Tortuguero because the family treasure hunt experience is going to happen in the turtle nesting season. So we want kids and families to learn about conservation, learn about not only the conservation of land, but also about the ocean, how we have to protect our turtles, our dolphins, our oceans, and our land. So that's basically my story, my country, and my passion. I hope you learned a lot about that on this webinar. And I'm here for questions. And Mr. Michael, I want you to join me. And
Well, Stephanie, I am joining you, and nice job. I was, you know, I've been to Costa Rica. It was a number of years ago. It's in Arnall, and then on the coastline. I think it was on the Pacific coast side. But there's so much I didn't know. Right? Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Really gave me a good sense of it, and appreciate how thorough and how passionate you are in the way you shared the story on Costa Rica, which I'm sure there's a lot more. I guess we got to go there to get a couple of answers from you too. So questions, Shane, you want to, I think we have a list of questions that are posted that we want to answer live. You want to throw them out there, and then we'll figure out who's going to answer them.
Yeah, I'll jump. And if anyone has any further questions, you can go into the Q&A section and ask that, and it'll pop up on our screen, and we can pull those up for you and ask those live. First question was, how does the Costa Rican Amazons compare to the Amazon? Would it be considered jungle or rainforest?
okay, we call it the Costa Rica Amazons because that way you can imagine that it's complete jungle, just the canals, the ocean, and the jungle itself, okay? So it's a rainforest of wetlands and canals all in one. So basically, it's like the Amazons, but with our wildlife, right? I don't know if that answers the question.
So is there
but
more,
that's how I see it.
is with Costa Rica has there's more indigenous plants and life that are in Costa Rica than maybe the traditional Amazon?
Yes, there's a difference in regards to wildlife and birds and plants and all of that. We call it the Amazon, so you can truly imagine that there's no roads, that it's completely nature itself untouched, right? And because everyone moves on the canals, and so it's very similar. What is different is the ecosystem itself, right?
Got it. All right, next up.
All right. So the next question relating to when is the turtle nesting season?
Okay, we have turtle nesting season around the country itself. In Tortuguero is August, September, and October, the turtle nesting season. October, November, December, the hatchling season, okay? But there's other periods of time where we have turtle nesting on the Pacific side as well, and different regions and different times.
Is there, I mean, I'm not sure if there's a perfect answer for this, but it says, when is the best time to go? I guess it depends on what you want, but is there a good answer you have for that?
Yeah, everyone asked this question. Let me see. Costa Rica is a destination that can be visited any time of the year, okay? It depends on the month of the year, the areas that you should visit. For example, if you're coming on November, December, January, February, March, and April, that's the dry season of the Pacific side. So I would suggest an itinerary that touches, for example, arriving to Liberia, doing Rincón de la Vieja, Guanacaste, Central Pacific coast, because that's going to be the dry area, okay? If you come in May, October, September, those are the rainiest months, but the rainiest months of the Pacific side and the best months for the Caribbean side. So if you're visiting those months, I would do the Tortuguero, the Caribbean, Sarapiquí, Arenal, okay? It also depends on what the client is looking for. For example, if you wanna do the whale watching, it's gonna be on the rainy season. On the Pacific, if you wanna do the turtle nesting, it has to be the rainy season of the Pacific, but the dry season of the Caribbean. So the country is divided by the mountain range and the climate as well. So basically, any time of the year, you can visit and have sunshine or rainfall. because remember, you're coming to the rainforest. If there's no rain, there's no rainforest. So the country gets rain the whole 12 months of the year. But depending on when you're coming, the area that you should visit.
Perfect. So, okay, so the next couple questions I'm going to put together are a couple COVID-related questions. It says, has the virus hit Costa Rica? And if so, what is being done? And as well as to follow with that, to what do you attribute the safety of Costa Rica compared to some of your neighbors?
Okay. Yes, we do have COVID in Costa Rica, but it has been really controlled, okay? The country closed its borders on the 16th of March. That means that everyone has stayed home since then. No international travelers can enter Costa Rica. No Costa Ricans can exit Costa Rica. So borders are closed. Everyone is using masks when we go to supermarkets or pharmacies. There has been a very big regulation on the cars as well. So we use the car plates. If you're 1 and 2, you cannot use your car on Mondays. If you're 3 and 4, you cannot use your car on Tuesdays, and so on. So that way we control as well how many people are going out, right? During the weekends, there's a bigger control. During the week, you can go out to do your business, you know, from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. During the weekends, from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's more controlled during the weekends. That's how it was like March, April. Now it's opening a little. We're 50% on theaters, 50% on cinemas, 50% on hotels, 50% on restaurants. But everyone that wants to open, like a restaurant or hotel, they need a permission from the Minister of Health, and they check their protocols so that they're allowed to open.
And on that note too, the Costa Rica Tourism Board has designed, I think it's 16 protocols for hotels, restaurants, any tourism attractions, transportation, anything like that, that everyone must adhere to. So again, just being really, really cautious of everything, just to make sure it's safe for its residents and future visitors as well. And then as far as reopening borders, I know there's a question about that as well. We have the borders reopening on August 1st for international tourism. That's when we're planning on for countries where there is no widespread transmission, which is still being analyzed.
Perfect.
So let me just chime in real quick here. I think you guys didn't really acknowledge how fantastic of a job Costa Rica has done in containment of COVID there. Of a population of about 5 million, I think you have somewhere around 2,400 infections, and less those that are infected, and less than 20 deaths in Costa Rica. Listen, no deaths, 1 death is bad, but I'm just saying in general, compared to a 5 million population, Costa Rica has done a phenomenal job in containing, maintaining, and then of course, establishing those protocols today. And they're going to put those protocols in place, for another 30 days on top of what they've already done before they open up the border. So really commend what Costa Rica, the Minister of the Ministry of Health has done, and the government as a whole really done a fantastic job in keeping the people there safe and keeping it safe to open back up. So I just wanted to mention that.
And then a follow-up question in the same vein is, when is it safe to start booking Costa Rica? 2021 or sooner?
Well, I'm going to jump in on that. I will tell you that it depends what you mean by safe. If you mean by safe where you don't have any risk of financial loss, our terms and conditions provide that because it's only an $18 deposit per person to secure it. And then again, 90 days out, you come up with $500, and it's fully refundable, cancelable. 90 days out, $500, which is cancelable, not refundable, but fully credited towards future booking, and that could be either that destination or anywhere. So if you're talking about that safety, was that what the specific question was about, feeling safe to book without feeling financial risk?
I think that it could be one aspect of it. I think it follows along with the COVID question as well. So I think August 1st was when you said borders open. So I think that would be another answer as well.
Yes.
And then, okay, so then can you accommodate a group of 28 seniors, and which is best? Or which area is best?
Stephanie, I'll let you do that one.
Okay. Seniors. When we talk about seniors, we need accessibility because seniors already need their handrails when they're showering, their non-slippery floors. They prefer to use the ramps instead of the stairs. And all of the walks and trails that we're gonna visit, they have to be adequate so they can really walk them, and they need to have those spots where they can sit down, right? Because we're talking about seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend to arrive to San Jose International Airport because they're seniors. I always recommend 2 nights because we need them to just lay back, you know, they have to rest after long flights. And include some short activities. It can be like the one of the culture of Cimarrón Mascarada, or it can be a coffee tour, or it can be visit San Jose. All of them would be adequate for their age. After that, Tortuguero is a great spot. Seniors love it because they don't have to walk. They just take the boats and see the wildlife, okay? Next destination would be Arenal because of the hanging bridges, the hot springs, and the amazing trails that have been adequate and accessible. And from there, the beach. Of course, seniors love just to lay it back, have the sunshine, the pool, and all of those luxury amenities. So that's a quick different regions. Of course, as I have said, all of us are different. There are a lot of seniors that are incredibly fit and they can do a lot of more, right? So it would be based on their specifics.
Stephanie, I don't think you've done yourself a great service in identifying how focused and a champion you've been on leading the cause for accessibility in Costa Rica. It's one of the things that really drew me to you when we were having dinner in New York last year, is that your commitment and your passion to make sure that it's available and accessible to all. That's how you view Costa Rica, that it shouldn't have any limitations. And you've gone to great pains in terms of the vehicles that we work with, in terms of the access to certain beach, the trails, the hotel rooms, you know, making sure things aren't slippery where there's rails. So again, I don't think you haven't talked about it much, but I just want to recognize you for really setting up and putting the best practices in place and the standards that are in place to making sure that Costa Rica is available for all to experience it in a way that everybody should and could do it. So just a tip of the hat there to you, and to let the advisors know that that's really a great option that you've made available for travelers.
And group size of 28, anything you'd like to say about that?
I don't think 28 is a problem. I think they've had bigger groups than that, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing about 28 is that we're gonna use a big bus so we can regulate, you know, the distance, the social distancing. So instead of using a van of 30 passengers, we will be using a big bus of 55 passengers so we can do all the protocols. But in regards to the quantity, I've done in the past very big groups, like 500 people around Costa Rica. So in regards to numbers, there's no deal. It's just about being able to use the protocols and being safe.
Very fantastic. There was a question that says, can you tell me the ideal 7-night itinerary for a family of 4 that likes adventure?
If I knew the ages of the children, it would be easier. because we have designed the different logistics based on the ages, because it's not the same traveling with an adventurous family with kids of 2 years old as an adventurous family with kids that are already 15 years old, right?
But you would say
It
there's
really depends on
opportunity
the
for
age.
both.
Sorry?
You would say there's opportunity for both, though.
Oh yeah. We've designed itineraries even for small babies with strollers.
Awesome. The question is, next question, are you limiting hotel occupancy for high season winter months?
Are we limited?
Yeah, is there any sort of limitation or limiting of hotel occupancy for high season winter months? I'm not 100% sure. I just wanted to ask the question.
I imagine that that would be for itineraries based on December, November, December, and January. For your winter months, we should be 100% already.
Perfect. Do you have, are there a selection of fine art museums as far as in Costa Rica is concerned?
Oh yes, in San Jose. If you stay in San Jose, we could do an amazing art tour. For example, the the luxurious small group departure that we're doing for the 9 days, we're staying at a hotel that the hotel itself, it's an art gallery. So it's not only about the big museums, it can also be of those private, small, unique art collections.
Fantastic. And yeah, and that was everyone's question so far. If there was anything else anyone wanted to ask, feel free to drop it in the Q&A, but at this moment, that is it. And I believe Alita wanted to speak on something too real quick, or is that, or whatever we want to wrap with next?
I think, yeah, we can just do a couple of minutes. Alita, if you want to talk about the luxury small group departures that we put together, just maybe a minute or two. I know we're getting past our, wow, we're already a little over an hour already. So take a couple of minutes and then we'll say goodbye and thank everybody for coming and participating.
Thank you, Michael and Shane, and thank you, Stephanie, and thank you to Adalberto and Tricia. I really don't have much to add because Stephanie did a fantastic job in presenting Costa Rica and also the 2 different programs that we are doing as fixed departure dates. So if you do have any clients that like to travel in a small group setting up to 14 people, as Stephanie has already said, and having a really special experience, this is the right place to go. So you can reach out to us and we will give you more detailed information on all of that, and when the actual dates are and the prices and everything that goes with it. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
All right, listen, everybody, thank you. The panelists for joining us, for sharing your insights and wisdoms of the destination and why Costa Rica is such a jewel of a destination to visit. We also have on our website those 2 Costa Rica packages. You can go search it by Costa Rica and then you'll see the luxury, the LSG there, and then you can reach out to Alita direct at apaljevic@iworldoftravel.com to talk about any questions or interests you have in moving forward with Costa Rica bookings or any bookings for that matter around the globe. Again, thank you very much everybody for participating. It's been, listen, I learned quite a bit. I hope everybody else did. And it's been our pleasure to share this information with you. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.